Good morning. It's Thursday, May 22nd. Here's what we're working on. We are going to help you prepare for major road closures in and through Hamilton this weekend.
A man has been arrested after 2 Israeli embassy staff members were shot in downtown Washington, D.C.
And no surprise here, Hamilton's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is voted the NBA's most valuable player. Not much of a surprise there, but still pretty exciting.
No, you can't rain on SGA's parade.
No, but you can rain on everything else,
yes.
Brian.
and it is, and it has been, and it will continue to be. Yeah, it is really wet, and it continues to be wet for it's going to be for today and into tomorrow as well. We'll start to finally be able to dry out as we get into the weekend. Yep, you can finally take your rubber boots off and get all the rain out of them. We're looking at, look at the rain continuing to come down. We had almost 30 millimeters of precipitation yesterday alone. Never mind what we've had throughout the overnight, which has continued, which we'll get today and we'll get again tomorrow. So this is quite the rain event that we're getting. And it's been cool as well. Like yesterday during the afternoon, we had that northeast wind and the temperature fluctuated 8 to 9 degrees. That was about it. It finally started to climb overnight, and we're sitting right now, we're sitting at about 9 degrees right now. But that's around seasonal, but we're only going to climb to 14 for the day today. Hopefully we can get there. But yeah, be prepared for another wet day. Rain continues, and we'll talk about that coming up in detail in a few minutes. Looking at the wet roads that we have at the moment, not a lot to see right there. 403 Waterdown Road, it's moving okay for the puddles and the rain. We'll show you some MTO traffic cameras. Here's Centennial Parkway. Not a lot to see there. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, pretty light volume, pouring rain here at Third Line as you go Toronto bound towards us. So we will keep you updated, weather and traffic in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Okay, get ready to pack your patience. Hamilton's Lincoln Alexander Parkway and part of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, they're going to be closed starting tomorrow for maintenance. This is going to cause a lot of delays and congestion. Simone Gavros is going to help us through it, though. She joins us this morning near Mohawk and the Link with more.
Annette, the entire link is going to be closed starting tomorrow. So the eastbound lanes close at 8 a.m. Then the westbound lanes are going to close at 10 a.m. and it all reopens at 5 in the morning on Monday. Now, there have been signs letting drivers know that this is going to be happening leading up to Friday. So this is just an early reminder as drivers are going to be planning for that early commute tomorrow. So the eastbound lane closures are going to start at Golf Links Road and go all the way to the Red Hill. And then the westbound lanes are closed from the Red Hill to Mohawk. That's for the city's annual maintenance, where crews will be cleaning up graffiti, repairing the bridge and signs, and cleaning up the grass. Detours will be in place on Mohawk Road in Ancaster and Stone Church Road in Stony Creek, but these will likely get very congested. On top of this closure is another partial one on the Skyway Bridge. The Ministry of Transportation will be closing 2 lanes of the QEW Niagara bound on Friday from 10 p.m. until Monday at 5 a.m. All ramps from the Eastport Drive collector to the Skyway Bridge will be closed, and the northbound Boulevard interchange will remain open. And if you're taking the GO train, crews will be working on the tracks there, so there's going to be no trains running between West Harbor and Oakville GO station starting on Saturday. GO buses will be running, but not at Appleby or Bronte stations. Now, the highway work is weather dependent. There's been no indication from the city if there's been any changes thus far, given that there is all this rain that we're experiencing right now. But we will be speaking to the city a little bit later on this morning. For now, things back over to you, Rick.
Thank you, Simone. Police in Washington, D.C. say they have a suspect in custody after 2 staff members at the Israeli embassy were killed last night. D.C. police say the victims were exiting an event at the Capitol Jewish Museum when the suspect, 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez, approached their group and opened fire. After the shooting, police say the suspect entered the museum where he was detained by event security. Investigators say the suspect was seen pacing outside the museum before the shooting. Police say Rodriguez chanted "Free, Free Palestine" while in custody.
The couple that was gunned down tonight in the name of Free Palestine. It's a young couple about to be engaged. The young man purchased a ring this week with the intention of proposing to his girlfriend next week in Jerusalem.
What I do know is that the horrific incident is going to frighten a lot of people in our city and in our country. And I want to be clear that we will not tolerate this violence or hate in our city. We will not tolerate any acts of terrorism, and we're going to stand together as a community in the coming days and weeks to send the clear message that we will not tolerate anti-Semitism.
The FBI says they'll look into ties into potential terrorism and if the motive of the attack was based on a hate crime.
Our federal government expects a full investigation after the Israeli army fired shots near a diplomatic delegation, which included Canadians. This is in the West Bank.
The Israeli ambassador has been summoned to Global Affairs to see the minister and explain. We expect a full investigation. We expect a immediate explanation of what happened. It's totally unacceptable. It's some of many things that are totally unacceptable that's going on in the region.
Foreign Affairs Minister and Oakville MP Anita Anand confirmed that 4 Canadians were part of the delegation touring the city of Jenin. She posted she's relieved all of them are safe. Now, in a joint statement earlier this week, Prime Minister Mark Carney, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, and French President Emmanuel Macron had threatened to impose sanctions on Israel after renewed military offensive in Gaza. And Prime Minister Carney has confirmed that Canada is considering joining Donald Trump's new Golden Dome missile defense program.
Something that we are looking at and something that has been discussed at a high level, but I'm not sure one negotiates on this. These are military decisions that have been taken in that context, and we will evaluate it accordingly.
Carney has refused to provide a ballpark figure for how much Canada might be able to contribute to this massive project. Just a day earlier, Trump had said that Canada was interested and that he would make sure we pay our fair share in this program, which he estimates to be about $175 billion U.S. Well, finance ministers and other top economic officials are wrapping up a 3-day G7 summit in Alberta. Officials held a full day of closed-door meetings yesterday. The gathering touched on the global economy and war in Ukraine. Ahead of the G7 Leaders Summit, which is set for June in nearby Kananaskis, BC, or Alberta, rather. Canada's Finance Minister Francois-Philippe Champagne said the groups were making progress in talks on a number of issues, but he was less clear about whether the ministers would come out with an agreement today.
Sportsline, and it's not often that an athlete from Hamilton is named the most valuable player of their professional sports league. In fact, it's never happened until yesterday, when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was voted the NBA's MVP.
I can't say enough how much you guys mean to me, and not only as like a basketball player, but like as family. You guys, I know you guys know, like we do everything together on and off the court. We go shopping, we eat. Like you guys are really like my brothers, and I really mean that. And without you guys, none of this would be possible. And I want you guys to know, like, this award is your award too. So thank you guys so much.
He's not only the best player on an Oklahoma City Thunder team that had the best record this season, SDA also won the NBA scoring title, the first Canadian to do so. Gilgeous-Alexander received 71 of 100 first-place votes, beating out Denver's Nikola Jokic, who received 29. It also extends a streak of 7 straight years that a player born outside the U.S. has won the MVP, the longest in NBA history. Milwaukee's Giannis Antetokounmpo finished third in the voting. SGA and the Thunder will try to take a 2-0 series lead in the West Final tonight when they host Minnesota. The NBA's Eastern Finals started with a bang last night. Canadian Andrew Nembhard scored the winning basket with 26 seconds left in overtime as the Indiana Pacers edged the New York Knicks 138-135. Tyrese Halliburton tied the game with a long jumper as time expired to force OT after the Knicks had led by 14 points with under 3 minutes to play. New York's Jalen Brunson scored a game-high 43 points in the loss.
Chance for Dallas to take the lead. Duchesne dropped it back. Haskin had moved it quickly. Ran it and shot. Comes to Duchesne. He had a wide open goal. And they score!
What a start to the NHL's Western Conference Final in Dallas, where the Stars welcomed the Oilers. It was all Edmonton in the first two periods as they jumped out to a 3-1 lead. But the Stars woke up in the third frame and scored 5 unanswered goals on Stuart Skinner and beat the Oilers 6-3. Tyler Seguin had 2 goals and an assist for Dallas. Leon Draisaitl led Edmonton with a goal and 2 helpers. Tonight, Carolina hosts Florida in Game 2 of the East Final, with the Panthers up 1-0.
Deep to center.
Dalton Varsho hit a grand slam in a 7-run 8th inning as the Blue Jays blasted San Diego 14-0. Nathan Lucas hit a 2-run dinger to break a scoreless tie in the 5th, and the floodgates opened. Toronto's Kevin Gausman improved to 4-4 after he allowed just 3 hits over 7 innings and struck out 9. The Jays go for a series sweep this afternoon. Game 2 of the CHCH QEW Cup goes tonight in Welland, where the Jackfish hosts the Hamilton Cardinals in inter-county baseball action. Welland won the opening game of the 6-game regular season showdown last Sunday, blanking the Cards 6-0. After I throw out the ceremonial first pitch at Welland Stadium tonight, game will begin at 7:15. NFL owners nearly failed to pass a proposal to ban the tush push. The fate of the short yardage play was on the agenda at their spring meetings, but only 22 of the league's 32 owners supported the ban, 2 votes short of the 3/4 majority required. The NFL did approve allowing players to participate in flag football in the 2028 Olympics in LA.
So we can get out there and push that tush. All right, it's not off the books now. All right, 12 minutes after 6 o'clock. Oh, what a wet Thursday morning we've got going on here. Look at the pouring rain we have at the moment. It's been pouring throughout the overnight. We'll check traffic. It's slowing things down, obviously. I mean, you've got those wet roads. You're going to have a lot of pooling and ponding because of all the precipitation that we've had. As you can see, it's still moving. Let's go to some MTO traffic cameras. That's Ministry of Transportation, Ontario. Nothing at the QEW in 406. Centennial Parkway still moving okay. Here's the 403 junction. So you're looking at Toronto-bound lanes coming out of Hamilton toward the 403 or going to the QEW Niagara. There's a vehicle kind of off to the side on the QEW as you either go off to the 403 or continue along Toronto-bound on the QEW. We'll flip ahead to Etobicoke Creek. Yep, basically what you have are wet roads this morning. Check the temperature that we have as we start this 22nd morning of May. Temperature at the moment is 9 degrees, a couple of degrees better than we were this time yesterday. The winds are light, thankfully. The relative humidity right up there. The rain is pouring down. We've had 28.8 millimeters of precipitation from early yesterday morning to this morning. So, and of course, it just continues. The rain is going to go on throughout the day today. A 14-degree high. We could get another 5 to 10 millimeters of rain today as the winds shift around a little bit to the south. Air quality, no problems today in the low risk category. Here's a look at the precipitation we've had over the past 6 hours. It's a loop, keeps repeating. You can see the green is the rain. The brighter colors in there are heavier downpours. But it's just been continuing. So this low pressure system has been plaguing us past couple of days. We'll continue to do that today, tonight, tomorrow. Finally, we'll start to see some sunshine, yay, as we get toward and into the weekend. So today, temperatures anywhere from 11 for Halton Peel, Toronto to 14, 13, 15 degrees, 5 to 10 millimeters possible throughout the day today. Tonight, another 5 millimeters possible. Temperatures bottoming out 7, 8 to 9 degrees. Yeah, the rain continues. And then tomorrow, temperatures 12 and 13. So a little bit shy of today for Hamilton, but the rain will be in the morning. It'll taper off to some scattered showers, so that's good news. It'll start coming to an end, and we'll get another 5 millimeters during the day tomorrow. So out the door, 22nd of May. Yep, it continues to rain. Temperature right now sitting at 9. Long range coming up. Annette, Rick.
Okay, right after the break, we're going to talk to Emily Vukovic. She has a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. And in business news, Canada Post workers going over a new offer as the clock ticks towards a strike deadline tonight. Okay, let's say good morning to Emily Vukovic with what's to come in Chit Chat.
Hi, good morning. Well, Stanley Pup is a friendly competition featuring adorable rescue dogs. It will return for the 2025 Stanley Cup final, and we'll take a look at some of the cute little puppies.
Is this kind of like the puppy bowl that they have
Kinda.
with Super Bowl?
I love
Okay.
some of the names, too, for the dogs. We'll get into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Selena Gomez and Oreo, like Oreo cookie, have teamed up for a new flavor.
Okay.
And later on this morning, Neil McDonough, new film, The Last Rodeo, has dropped its final trailer ahead of its release this weekend. Looks
Okay.
good.
Lots to look forward to then. Thanks very much, Emily. In overseas trading this morning, the Canadian dollar is down 8 basis points, just over 72 cents U.S. Gold is up a little more than $3 an ounce. Crude oil is down 63 cents. It is now just below $61 a barrel. Midday trading in Europe, markets down across the board with triple-digit losses in Frankfurt.
Over in Asia, markets were down across the board in Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. And in North American markets, Bay Street stumbled yesterday, shedding more than 200 points, while Wall Street experienced even bigger declines. The Dow lost over 800 points, and the Nasdaq dropped 270.
We are just hours away from another possible strike at Canada Post. The union representing about 55,000 Canada Post employees is reviewing the latest offer. Canada Post says it addresses a number of concerns and offers a wage increase of more than 13%. That's over a 4-year contract. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers says the Crown Corporation wants to change some hard-fought collective agreement rights and methods. A key sticking point is a proposal to add new part-time workers that would allow for a 7-day-a-week delivery, mainly for parcel delivery over the weekend. If postal workers do walk off the job at midnight, it would be their second strike in less than 6 months.
Staying with labor disputes, hearing services workers continue to strike throughout Ontario, including here in Hamilton. Over 200 CHS workers hit the picket lines across the province on April 28th. The union representing the workers is calling for better wages, respect, and transparency. CHS workers say they want to get back to work as soon as possible.
Our bargaining team and the company, CHS, Canadian Hearing Services, are meeting today at the table from 10 until 5 p.m. So we are hopeful that tomorrow we will have some update and some results to share with our members. The bottom line is that, of course, we want to return to work. We want to be back providing services to the deaf and hard of hearing, deaf and deafblind communities. We would like to be providing support as soon as possible. We miss our work, we miss interacting with our colleagues and our clients, and we are ready to roll up our sleeves and get back to it. So we are hopeful that we will have a resolution soon.
CHS is a nonprofit and the country's leading provider of programs, services, education, and products that help the deaf and hard of hearing community overcome barriers to participation.
Well, Bell says an hours-long outage of internet and cell service for hundreds of thousands of customers in Ontario and Quebec yesterday. It was caused by a technical issue. Bell says the outage began after it did an update that impacted some of its routers. It reportedly got more than 130,000 complaints from customers. I think my husband was one of them. Services were fully restored by 11 yesterday morning. Emergency operators are also reminding people that if something like this happens again, don't test 911 to see if your phone is working, because 911 operators across both provinces got a surge of calls. Shows you how reliant we are on cell services.
Not necessarily an emergency, though.
No.
Taking a break right now. Brian is going to be back with traffic and your 7-day forecast. Stay with us.
Coming up on 624 on this very wet Thursday morning, you can see the raindrops on the camera here. Not a lot going on in traffic other than having to negotiate those wet roads. QEW 405, nothing to see right there. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, really slowing down already here this morning. Toronto-bound lanes coming towards us on that shot. That was just there. Here's the QEW at Lorne Park. Nothing to see there. And then it will even dip into the 403 at Dundas Street. Yeah, the rain continues to come down, so be really careful careful on the roads today. And if you are hitting the roads today, Fuel Day is back at Circle K's across the country. Sarah Moncada, the marketing manager, Central Canada, tells us more.
Fuel Day is back, and it's an opportunity for you to save 10 cents off per liter on May 22nd from 4 to 7 p.m. And really just an opportunity for people in Ontario to save on fuel and also make a difference, because during that time from 4 to 7, one fill equals one meal to Food Banks Canada. So it's a way to fill up and also feel good about giving back to your community. We really care about giving back to our communities. And so this is just one way that we can kind of support our communities and just donate where we can.
Okay, the rain continues to come down. We've had a lot of it, almost 30 millimeters over the past 24 hours or so be careful on the roads. Pooling and ponding is quite possible. 9 in Hamilton, 7 in Mississauga, Toronto, 10 into Grimsby. Seasonals are 9 for the overnight low, so we're about there, but 20 for the daytime high, and we haven't been there in a while. Those are our sun times and records for today, and yeah, today might be a good day for some indoor activities once again. So 11 degrees for the first bell this morning. Rain. 14 for after school. Rain. It does continue today. So that's today, 14 degrees, 5 to 10 millimeters possible. 8 overnight, another 5 millimeters. Tomorrow, another 5 millimeters. But at least tomorrow, the rain will taper off to some scattered showers. So that bodes well for the weekend. Yay, we're going to be able to dry out a bit. Saturday, sunny and 15. Better on Sunday, sunny and 17. Even we linger into Monday, the sunshine and 18. Then it gets cooler and cloudy. That's your forecast. Annette, Rick.
Thanks, Brian. Have you ever wondered what a 3,000-year-old mummy smells like?
Well, scientists finally got a chance to take a whiff. And guess what? They say the preserved human remains smell kind of nice.
What?
They give off a scent that is spicy, woody, even sweet. Researchers tested the air that was trapped inside 9 ancient coffins at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. They pulled out 10 liters of air from each and ran it through a special machine to analyze the scents. Then a panel of trained sniffers. I'm sure that's not their official title, but they rated each scent's quality, intensity, and pleasantness. They found traces of myrrh, frankincense, and wax. So basically, the ancient Egyptians were into essential oils long, long, long before we were.
How do you become a trained sniffer?
I don't know. I do have a really good sense of smell.
Yeah.
So sometimes that does not work in my head.
Depends on what you're smelling.
Yes.
Stay with us. More to come after the break. Good morning.
Can't you smell that smell?